Hello again, everybody. This is Mr. Everything, and I'm coming at you with another Wargaming and miniature video. In this video, we're going to be talking about something totally off topic, completely off the wall. What we're going to be talking about is shelving for your miniatures. Okay, now you can look back here on the wall, and this is kind of a makeshift shelving arrangement that I have. I'm going to go ahead and move all this out of the way in just a minute. But what you see here is I've got some bins here that have 15 millimeter Napoleonic figures in there, and I'm going to be doing away with my 15 millimeter miniatures. So I figured I don't need those types of bins on the wall anymore. Okay, first of all, I've got so many miniatures that these shadow boxes are overflowing. I've got miniatures in cases, in boxes, in Ziploc bags, it's insane. I've got terrain in tubs, and I've got like buildings and tubs and trees and hills all in tubs on these shelves behind the camera that you can't see. And those are industrial shelves. They don't really look that good. What I'm going to do is probably, I don't know what I'm going to do with those. Right now, they're packed to the hilt with miniatures and supplies and stuff like that. And then I have these here, these tubs, which have all my 28 millimeter figures in, not including my D&D figures. So they've got my Hail Caesar, my Bolt Action, my black powder figures. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all of this down. I'm going to pull all these down, all these figures down, and then I'm going to replace it with these 12-inch white shelves. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put them here, and I'm going to stack them up to from the floor up to the roof. And what that's going to do is it's going to give me six. I have six. It's going to give me 6 shelves that I can take all my D&D models, all my black powder models, all my bolt action, my tanks, maybe some buildings. Hopefully, I can put my miniature collection in this wall right here, and that'll alleviate some pressure that's on these other walls, that I can put all my hobby like modeling supplies like balsa wood and MDF and spare trees and lichen and flock and glue. I can put all that over there and turn that into kind of my construction zone, and this be my completed zone. And then when we're playing D&D, we play D&D on this table right here. Instead of having to go into some kind of miniature case or some kind of bag or a foam container of miniatures, digging in there deep trying to figure out where all my figures are, what I can do is just walk over to the shelf, grab the one I need, put it on the table. If we play Hail Caesar or Bolt Action or any of those, I'll have my armies right here. I can just grab the army and put it there. So that's my thought process. All right, so let me go ahead and get started taking all of this down. And once I get this all off the wall, we'll be right back. All right, guys, so I've got this cleared off. You can't see this with that camera as far back as it is. You can't really see that, but there are holes where the screws were in the wall, and there's a few holes here where I had my shadow boxes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Drydex spackling. I'm going to fix all those holes before I get started. So you don't need to see me putting plaster in a hole and letting it dry. But once I get that started, I'm not going to wait for it to dry. I'm going to start putting up the shelves. So I'll be back in just a minute. Now that I got the Drydex in there, it goes on pink, it dries white. I'm not going to wait for it to dry. I'm just going to go ahead and line up my shelves, and we'll start putting them up. But first, I'm going to go wash my hand. I'll be right back. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I've got these vertical brackets that I'm going to put up that have the slots in them for my shelf brackets, right? These are, I think they're called standards. But I don't want to, they're 6 feet tall, and you can see that if I put them touching the ground, like right there, it's only going to go up to 6 feet. And I was hoping that I would have a shelf close to 10 inches from the top. Now, I could go all the way to the top, right? And then it wouldn't be anywhere near the bottom. So I need to put it somewhere in the middle. But I don't want to go too high because I don't need it. And then I don't want to go too low because I want to have a bottom shelf. Don't need a pole below the bottom shelf. So what I'm going to do is I've got a 6-inch toolkit here that I'm going to put, and this, so I'm measuring from the bottom. So the floor is level. Hopefully the shelves will be level. So I'm going to put this against the wall behind where I want to put the standard, right? And then I'm going to stand this on that, right, while it's going up the wall. So that's where I'm going to glue it in, or screw it in, sorry. Okay, let's try this again. I'm going to stand it on the toolkit. I'm going to put it about where I want it on the top. It doesn't have to be perfectly level or flush or anything like that. And then what I'll do is I'll mark the wall where I want to screw the screw in, right? And then once I screw that screw in, I will let this hang, and what it'll do is it'll hang straight down because of gravity. The pendulum effect. I'll do that with both of them, and then I will let it hang, and then we'll mark all the spots, screws in. I'll be right back. Now there's something I do on the drywall right before I apply any drywall screws. I take a little Scotch tape, I get a good piece of Scotch tape, and I put it over the hole that I'm going to drill, or not drill, but screw it in. That way it holds the drywall in place. Is there a top and a bottom? I don't think there is. I think they're the same. Okay, so now, I don't know if you can even see that. I'm going to bring the camera a little bit closer. So I didn't screw the top ones in completely because I wanted this to be able to sway. I wanted this to kind of hang vertically like a pendulum on here. And then that way I can find all the spots that I'm going to. Okay, so now once I get it in the spot I'm going to put it on, I'm going to draw in the holes that I'm going to screw in, because once I'm done I'm going to again put the tape where the holes are. Okay, and so when I pull this off to the side you can see the spots that I need to place the tape on. Alright, let me put these up, and put this one up, and then I'll be right back. Alright, now that I got all the tape behind all the holes, now I'm just going to take my drywall screws, which currently what I'm using is 6 gauge, 1 5/8, or number 2s, Phillips head, coarse. The reason why I like to use coarse is because I think it grips better to the drywall. Alright, so we got them screwed in place. Alright, so we got it screwed in place. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to put these brackets up, and you should be able to make it even or level. Let's see what we can do. Alright, so we got our shelves. They're not exactly the same distance apart of each other. The bottom one I put a little bit lower, so if I wanted to put some big terrain or something like that in there, I could. And this one's not all the way at the top because I wanted to have enough room to put like big models or big terrain. I would be able to put it up there pretty, we can't even see that. There you go. Big models or big terrain pretty conveniently. Now this is a 10-inch model, so I put about 12 inches of room at the top, right? Okay. Now the next step is I have this easy liner. It's kind of a rubberized material. It's rubberized, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to be able to cut this out and just lay it on the shelves, and that way the shelves don't, miniatures don't slip. Alright, so now I've got my sheet, my tape measure. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure 3 feet, because that's how big these shelves are. There's 2 feet. There is 3 feet. And I'm going to cut that. Right? And then I'm going to cut 3 feet on the other side as well. There we go. And using my straight edge, where I cut here and I cut here, cut across. And again, this doesn't have to be perfect because you can trim it afterwards. Alright, now this is supposed to be 2 feet wide, so if I fold it in half, that should be a 1 foot divider, right? 1 foot per side, and then I'll cut it along that line there. And again, this doesn't have to be perfect. There we go. And so what that does is that's going to give me 2 shelves worth of padding. Now what I'm going to do is just take this padding and lay it with the flat side out and the cut side in. A little bit of overhang, a little bit of lippage, a little bit, which that can always be edited, you know, updated, or what do you call it? Trimmed. There we go. Now I just need to do that for all my shelves, and I think that black on white really gives it a really cool look, and then I can start stacking my models, you know, on these shelves. Alright guys, thanks for coming out and checking out this video. When I get it finished, I'm sure in one of my future Wargaming miniature videos we'll show you the completed project with all the figures stacked up on there and everything. Alright, so I'll catch you next time.